My name is Jeff Batdorf. I just completed the project management certification program. Well, I've been actually looking to continue my education, specifically in project management, for quite a while now. Did some research online, different programs that are out there, and I really wanted the education to be kind of from an accredited university. I know several people that attended Cal State Fullerton. They rated it very high. Um, at the time I was able to take the class. The timing was perfect. The cost was within reach. And the topics of the classes that were listed on the website really intrigued me when we talk about risk management and other aspects of project management.
All right. So prior to the pandemic and everything that happened after that, you were working at the Disneyland Resort in project management or?
My experience there was mainly in retail, but also in training. So both of those aspects of it had a lot of projects involved with them, um, involved in all of the recent remodels and we call reimagineering of the theme parks of the lands and things like that. So the business has really become a series of projects on top of the operation. And that's where I really got involved in the project management side of things, even special events that I was helping run. Projects really have been kind of the mainstay of what's keeping businesses alive today. And you see that in every aspect of every business. Everything is kind of a project. Everyone's looking for an experience-based um, operation where you come in to experience something and they want to experience something new every time they come in. So hence projects are born. That I think that I'm really good at is seeing that whole picture, but being able to break it down to this smallest minute detail that needs to be paid attention to, because one little aspect that doesn't click could cause the whole thing to collapse or cause the whole experience to not work the way that it was envisioned to begin with. The things I think that were the most valuable was one, just interacting with everybody else. There's so many diverse opinions and diverse experiences and diverse people in the class. Everybody was in a different career path, um, different lines of businesses and different companies. But at the same time, you realize that we all have something in common. There are commonalities amongst all those divisions and all those avenues that we're all trying to, what's the word I'm thinking of? They're all trying to navigate, especially in the world today, even with pandemic, even before the pandemic, the world is changing so fast. How do we keep up? How do we maintain? How do we stay ahead of the game? One of the best quotes I heard a long time ago was, a company that isn't growing or isn't changing isn't growing. And so I think that's kind of where the project management side comes in, where again, you're always looking for what's the next step? What's the next step? How are we staying ahead of each other? But to interact with other people that, again, have the same problems, even though they're totally different lines of business, really helped me. One, it gave me a little bit more confidence that we're on the right track, we're doing the right thing. And then to hear their experiences really just gave me a lot of insight into what everyone else is going through that I can take back to my team and say, hey, guess what? One, we're not alone, but here's what so-and-so did on their team that we were able to, or will be able to adapt to fit our needs as well. That's because almost everybody in the class was already in a profession. There were a few people that were also just finishing school. So you had a wide variety of opinions and ideas of what was going on out there, and just share those ideas and kind of build that camaraderie between the students and the faculty members as well, because they were also able to impart their wisdom and share their stories and build on what we were saying. So it was really a collaborative effort in the class, I think, to make it successful. What's great about this class is it is real life, where you are put together with a team of complete strangers that you've never met before, and you have basically 4 months to kind of create this virtual project. And being totally online, figuring out how you're going to communicate, because we never met each other in person, and we still have everybody on our text phones or our phones. So when this is over, we can actually meet each other to see what everybody looks like. But how you coordinate? I mean, we're using Dropbox, we're using texting, we're calling, we're doing Zoom meetings on the side. Just that whole coordination was challenging, but at the same time, it's what's happening in the world right now. So it really gave us that real life experience of, this is probably what the future is going to be like, because I have a feeling a lot of these, people working from home and a lot of these new challenges are going to become the new norm. And that's why the class interaction, I think, was so important, to hear what other people were saying and hear other people's stories and hear the fact that we had 5 different faculty members or professors come through and teach their class, all extremely various backgrounds, but they all had great stories to share of failures, as well as successes, which was actually kind of fun to hear. And then we could build on that. So again, when I then took what they call the PMP, I think all that helped me pass the exam because I had that experience rather, again, just knowing that, okay, the answer is B.
Yeah.
And there's even an idea that you don't have to be a subject matter expert to manage that product. You still rely on the team to do the product. You really are just kind of managing it and leading it through, helping them navigate it. There's kind of a concept of servant leadership, which is, you're there to remove the barriers that's preventing them from being successful in the project. And that's definitely a skill set. But having these tools of the PMI is developed, which the class teaches, just kind of gives you a foundation to be able to say, hey, here's what other companies have done, for the last 50 years that have worked. We don't need to reinvent the wheel necessarily. Big part of it is that the whole thing is flexible. You don't have to use every single knowledge base or every single aspect of the program. You adapt it to fit the program and the project that you're doing, whether it's a 2-week project, or we often joke, if you're building a nuclear power plant, okay, that takes a little bit more planning ahead of time than say, you're just going to change your flowers. You change the flowers, the landscaping, or install a sprinkler system or something that's maybe not as complex. You have to be invested in the class. It's definitely not a passive class to sit in. And I really recommend, as I've been saying, don't be shy. Share your stories, share your background. Everybody wants to hear it. Everybody wants to understand what you've gone through, because again, they may be going through the same thing. And they're looking for solutions. They want to hear what has been successful and what maybe they could try in their organization. My advice to people, especially taking the class, don't hide yourself. Don't, I know it's easy to say, I'm just gonna be on mute, I'm gonna black out my camera so nobody can see me. Be part of the class, be willing to, like I said, to share and interact. We got to see, I think, everybody's kids. We know everybody's dogs in the class because they're going to interrupt, and we know that, and that's part of life. And I think that's part of the whole virtual experience that we've been working with and beginning to understand. So I think people are getting used to that now. So it's not as intrusive as it may have been, even 6 months ago when we started this whole journey of virtual training or virtual online learning.
Great advice. What about, so I know that you are a seasoned professional. I mean, you worked for one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, right? Like you've done many things.
Yeah.
But for someone who's coming in that has maybe like 1 year experience, or someone who's completely new to project management, is this class doable for them as well?
Oh, totally. In fact, somebody on my team was just getting their master's degree. They didn't have a lot of experience. It can be a little intimidating, I guess, because there are people that have a lot of experience that will come in. It's a great opportunity for you, one, to listen and learn, but ask questions. Don't be afraid to kind of say, hey, you had that experience. What did that feel like? I think is kind of a big question, because it's very technical when you start to, this is the rules, but there is a personal experience. There's an emotion that comes with this. There's dealing with people. How do you do leadership? We did talk about how do you deal with people that are maybe not for the project or not performing to the level that they need to be performing. And all those things are going to come into real play eventually in your life. Even if you're not in leadership, you're going to have coworkers that you're going to have to coach along the way, and continue to motivate, learn how to motivate people. And definitely, I know the people that were fairly new seemed to really get a lot out of the class when we took it. Never stop learning. That's what I tell everybody. It doesn't matter where you are in your career. I can tell you I'm closer to retirement than I am to the start of my career. And I just feel that the continuing education is so important. Interact with people of all generations, all type of backgrounds. Learn from them. Everybody has something to share, including yourself. So again, like I tell people, don't shy away. There's some people I'm like, come on, give us more, because you have a lot to share. You have a lot of experience, and everybody wants to hear about what you have to share, as well as you absorbing what everyone else is sharing for you.